Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I don't want to beat a dead horse here, colleagues. I'll just give you a little background on my situation. A couple weeks after the session ended last year, I started getting a flurry of calls from my district about a crypto mine. I'm thinking, well, what's a crypto mine? You know, I've heard of Bitcoin, but I thought of it as like a 40-year-old guy in his mom's basement on the computer trying to make money, right? I didn't realize it was a huge facility that makes all this noise. So, my constituents said, y'all passed Act 851. This is going to prevent our town from stopping this crypto mine. City officials, city council members, the mayor, they shared those fears. Thankfully, the town averted that disaster. The Planning Commission did not grant the permit for the business. The City Council did not approve it before Act 851 went into place. If it had already been in place, I don't think they could have prevented it. They didn't feel like they could prevent it. This specific resolution, I know, is talking about energy and water usage. Representative Moore's district, the crypto mine there is drilling a well into the aquifer. The water used there, the water in that aquifer is used by the rice farmers, soybean farmers, that are a huge part of the industry of our state. Ag is huge in our state. We all support ag. We all support those farmers. We don't want anything to happen to their water supply. 50 crypto mines in the state. How many of those are going to be over there using that aquifer and using that water? I just want to back up what all my colleagues that have come before me have said. Let's give our constituents every tool possible to solve this issue. I support all these resolutions. I voted for all of them so far. I'm going to vote for the rest of them. There may be parts in there I don't agree with. We can hash that out. We can get those things fixed. But I'm standing here on behalf of my constituents who want us to fix this problem. We can't just keep kicking it down the road. We can't wait till next session. We're going to have more crypto mines. You're going to have them in your district. You're all going to be getting those calls. In my district, the problem is solved for now, but my constituents are still worried that they could come back. So I just ask you that let's work together in a spirit of unity to try to get these things fixed, get this issue fixed and protect our constituents and protect their property, protect their health, protect their safety. Thank you.
Representative Cooper has spoken for the resolution. Would anyone like to speak against the resolution? Would anyone like to speak for the resolution? Representative Miller, close. You're recognized to close for the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In regards to this resolution and some comments by Representative Ray earlier concerning the power companies, I can see why they wouldn't have a big problem with it. Right now, they're making a lot of money. So I'm not, forgive me, and I mean no disrespect to the power companies, but I'm taking that into consideration. And, we use the phrase down here all the time, follow the money. I'm not saying the power companies are doing anything wrong. By no means am I saying that. But, can I understand why they would not want legislation that would look into this? Sure, they're making a pile of money. We've been down here before and heard from private companies who were entering into business with the state that were making a lot of money, and things didn't always turn out quite the way they said. So I'm just let's have the conversation. Whatever committee this is going to, let them have the tools necessary to address this if they deem it necessary. I think it's worth looking into, or I wouldn't be here in front of you consistently getting whipped. But with that, I appreciate a good vote. Thank you.
Representative Miller has closed for the resolution. The question before the House is the passage of House Resolution 1017. Prepare the machine, Madam Clerk. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Cast up the ballot, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 65 yeas, 15 nays, and 11 present, the resolution has failed. Madam Clerk, please read House Resolution 1016.
House Resolution 1016 by Representative Miller to authorize the introduction of a non-appropriation bill to require a digital asset mining business to provide notification before purchasing land or building or beginning construction of a digital asset mining facility.
Representative Miller, you're recognized to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, possibly some language that could be helpful in regulating this when the bill comes about. Appreciate a good vote.
Representative Miller has explained the resolution. Would anyone like to speak against the resolution? Representative Ray, you're recognized to speak against the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know that elicited a few laughs. I promise I'm not doing this because it's fun. Colleagues, again, same deal with this resolution. It just simply doesn't address any of the real documented problems that we know exist, that we know we need to fix. This deals with notification before purchasing land. This bill states that if you want to buy land that you intend to use for digital asset mining, that you have to, with 6 months prior, notify the Public Service Commission. Why? The Public Service Commission regulates energy usage. It doesn't regulate land usage. This is not a requirement that the state imposes on any other sort of business, not that I'm aware of, even businesses that are both energy intensive and produce a lot of noise. So I just think we ought to continue sticking to addressing the issues that we know will solve the problems that are currently in our state, and I would encourage a no vote.
Representative Flowers, for what purpose?
Question.
You're recognized.
Representative Ray, you made a lot of points on these bills, and I really came in here prepared to and did vote present on a couple of them and have voted yes on the last couple because it seems that we really are engaged in almost a committee process where we're hearing about what's happened with farms and water usage, and it's pretty specific. And I'm getting to my question, while I think that this should be done in a special session, that many of us voted for this without understanding the implications, it's disturbing me that we seem to be asked to vote on this based upon specifics and merits on the issue. And so my question to you is, you're bringing a lot of pointed information in front of many of us who I'm not sure how many people read all of these bills, to keep them from going through a process. What would be wrong with addressing these issues in committee where the committee would be charged with voting against it, not letting it out of committee rather than not letting it into committee to address these issues, especially for something as important as water or permitting or whatever?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So there's a reason that we have a 2/3 threshold to bring up a substantive legislative matter, and that's because we're in the middle of a budget session. And we have the ability to discuss substantive matters and make changes to the law in substantive ways, and I'm in favor of doing that in the right way, in a targeted way that addresses the real documented problems that we face. If we were to approve all these resolutions and just send them to committee, in my opinion, we'd be creating a massive bird's nest that we'd have to then untangle, because we're going to have 2 bills in insurance and commerce, and 2 in city, county, local, and 2 in energy, and 2 in we may have. There's one that wanted to create a felony. That one may have ended up in judiciary. There's one later that creates a tax. That one may want to go to revenue and tax. And so, the reason the threshold is 2/3 is because this is where we're supposed to make the tough decisions on these things. Not just kick the can down the road and say, "Oh, everybody's gets the same weight." I think we ought to pick the ones that have been drafted the best and that most closely address the issues that we face. Thank you.
Representative Ray has spoken against the resolution. Would anyone like to speak for the resolution? Would anyone like to speak against the resolution? So Miller is closed. Representative Miller, you're recognized to close for the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Couple of things, some points that were made. I believe that this resolution is especially necessary to solve property value issues. It's a step in that direction. Consider this. Most Arkansans, their biggest investment and their biggest asset is their home. And put yourself in the shoes of Miss Gladys Sanderson in Bona. Property value is shot. Now, if one of these is coming in and you've got notice, if you're thinking about buying property in an area, there would be a way for you to know, hey, you might not want to buy out there because in 4 months or whatever, there's going to be a crypto mine come in. Those are kind of things that are helpful to Arkansans. And also another thing in regards to, creating a bird's nest. Y'all, we have an excellent speaker. And I'm not just saying that because he's my friend, but I'm really, he is not, we've not created bird's nests. Bills get filed, they go to the correct committee. I have no doubt that would happen if bills get filed as a result of these resolutions, a bill or multiple bills. It would go to the correct committee. We wouldn't be bouncing around. That doesn't happen. With that, I'd ask for a good vote. Thank you.
Representative Miller is closed for the resolution. The question before the House is the passage of House Resolution 1016. Prepare the machine, Madam Clerk. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted?
No.
Cast up the ballot, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 57 yeas, 25 nays, and 9 present, the resolution has failed. Madam Clerk, please read House Resolution 1019.
House Resolution 1019 by Representative Miller to authorize the introduction of a non-appropriation bill to require a digital asset mining business to pay a fee for extraordinary electrical energy usage.
Representative Miller, you're recognized to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're about to vote here, hopefully in a few weeks, on a budget that's got